Hey, my YouTube subscribers, how are you? I'm just here, Master of Happiness, bringing you some happiness. Hold on, let me turn down my music. How are you doing today? Okay, this is what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about the law of attraction. I'm focusing each video on one chapter of the book that I really love called Working with the Law by Raymond Hallowell. And I promised in the last video you'll have to watch it. It's called The Law of Supply. It's really good for this day and age. It's still June 10th. 2020. I'm on a roll and I just want to get these knocked out so I can help as many people as possible. So here is the law of attraction. Everybody's heard of this one. I'm excited about this one because it's easy, right? With the law of supply, it's easy too, but I had to break it down into 3 simple steps. I believe if you break down anything in 3 simple steps, you can more easily understand it and you can more easily implement it, which is more important than understanding. Understanding usually comes and then you implement, and sometimes more understanding of, so learning is a process and everybody learns differently. I don't know how you learn. You have to figure that out. Everybody's got to learn to the best of their ability. So I want you to grab a pen and take some notes. Again, I'm the Master of Happiness. I'm also teaching about prosperity because I believe right now in this day and age, people need to focus on something other than what's going around in the world. Because, faith is the substance of things hoped for but not yet seen. I'm a person of faith, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the law of attraction. Yes, I am. There's only 3 steps to it. Everybody's heard of it unless you've been living under a rock. The Secret was a great movie, but it was just the first step because I'm going to expand on these steps. So first you have to ask, then you have to believe in order to receive. And the way I'm expanding on it is using this book and my own life examples of how the law of attraction has helped me. I was in a business. I've been an entrepreneur for 17 years. And so it was pivotal for me to learn the law of attraction. But at the same time, I'm very solid in my faith and in my belief. And I never want to do anything that keeps me from my God and King or would lead me down a path where I would no longer believe in my God and King, because that's just not possible, because I've had too much evidence in my life to believe otherwise. But what I did realize is that the law of attraction, not as the world teaches it, but as I'm going to teach it to you, they get it, right? Anything that works, I think, comes from God's word, basic instruction before leaving earth. So I'm going to teach it to you from my perspective. And I just love this because the key is when you ask, like when I ask of things, when I pray, because of my beliefs, I'm going to talk about, I pray, I have to believe that it's answered. And I can take you in the word where it proves to me that it is, right? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So we go through things in our life that causes us to ask for new things. For example, when my neighbors started to move, they started to sell their houses and moved, and other neighbors moved in, and we had interesting relationships with the new neighbors. And there's a lot of, for instance, there's a lot of noise around us right now. This neighbor up here complained about our hedge, so we had to cut it back severely. He tried to cut it, then we got into conflict, and then in order to make him happy, we cut it back even further, which affects our view, which affects our property, which affects everything. We're thinking about putting up a fence. We're thinking about all sorts of different ways out of it to keep the peace. But guys, circumstances happen, like the circumstances are going on right now. Right? It's June 10th of 2020. I'm not going to belabor those because all you got to do is watch anything on TV or the media. I don't believe in that everything's as bad as it seems because of my faith. I live in a kingdom. I rule and reign in my kingdom. My kingdom is in my thoughts. It's in my world. It's in my home. There's order in my home. There's peace in my home. There always is. I have angels that guard and protect us. I believe in that. It depends on what you believe. I ask, believe, and receive. Everybody does. They ask, believe, and receive. The point is, what are you expecting right now? Are you expecting to be blessed abundantly? Are you expecting to prosper? I always expect to prosper because my Bible tells me, beloved all else, that you would prosper and be in health even as your soul prospers. What does that leave out? Health, prosperity, even as your soul prospers. I don't know about you, but as my spirit gets renewed about what the promises are, what the covenant promises are, I get even happier because I realize, and I have prospered more in this downturn in the economy, the current economy, my personal economy has prospered more than ever. So, guys, but it's not about me, it's about you. If I can't get through to you that you have to ask for what you want, what does that mean? If you want a better body, you have to ask for help, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Ask for whatever it is you need. There's tons of programs out there. You have to believe that it can happen. You have to believe before you have to ask. You have to think about what you want. So that makes you ask. But then you have to believe it's already here. And I saw that with weight loss, right? I believe that I'm getting younger and younger every year. I believe that I'm getting healthier and healthier every year. I'm 54 years old. I'm about to turn 55, and it's true. In my body, I'm younger and younger. My skin is tighter. My everything looks better. So I am evidence of this, right? But it's because I've asked. Who are you asking? I'm asking God. You might call it universe. I don't know. You might have. God is so merciful and so loving, and he loves you unconditionally, that he understands why you may not trust church. He understands why you may not trust Christians. He understands that. But you can still go to him and ask. I did when I was outside of all of that. And he answered me. So ask, believe, receive. Despite miraculous things, which I've experienced miraculous provision in my life. My husband's one of them. Anybody who knows that story, I've got a video on my YouTube channel. You'd have to look through the videos. I've got over 200 videos now. So look through my channel. You'll find all sorts of stuff about me if you're wondering who I am. And they'll tell you. So as far as the law of attraction, this is my take. I focused, for every trip I earned over 34 all expenses paid trips. I've earned bonuses every month. I built a $5 million asset. I earned as much as $10,000 a month. In that journey, I was doing everything I could do in the physical. I was, as the information would come to me, this is an idea of something I could do, I would implement it. You cannot sit on your laurels and just envision everything. Yes, that's part of it, but you've got to take some action. Whatever, you don't have to see the whole staircase and how it's going to happen. Like right now, I'm believing for a house, a property, a specific property that I've asked God for in the Keys. In the Florida Keys. I'm not worried about the storms. I'm not worried about any of that because my God's bigger than that. But so, and again, angelic protection. So, but I ask and I'm believing for it as if it's already happened. Because when we get that house, we're still going to maintain a home here. So I'm going to be able to travel. So right now would be my season where I would be here. So I still believe in that house there. I live in it. I go there in my imagination. I call it my mental workshop. I have times a day, if I get weary or tired from the work I do in the world, I take a break, I take a nap, and I feed my mind with things that will encourage my faith and belief, and that is coming. So after you've asked, you have to believe. Like I believe that as soon as I ask, it's answered. But there's usually a time lag between before you receive it. The key is, what do you do in between asking and receiving? It's the belief period. It's the faith period, when you walk by faith and not by sight. I already believe I have that house in the Keys, even though I don't physically have the keys to the house in the Keys. I have the keys to the kingdom, which will bring me the house to the Keys, mortgage free, because of my beliefs. I have investments that I've invested in because I became made aware of them. I did a little bit of research, and then by faith I invested. So you have to run your life the way you feel led to run your life, right? My faith informs me every day about what I should do, and even the idea to do this set of videos is inspired. So the law of attraction works, but you have to work it. You have to really believe. Once you've asked, you have to already believe you've received, but there's time in the middle between reception where you have to just trust that it's working out for your good. This is why I teach overriding principles that anybody can believe in, which is all things work together for your good. That's my global belief. I'm trying to get you to believe that too, because you can prosper even in this downturn. There are so many rules that are in your favor right now that you may not even be aware of. I've studied these things. I've studied all the economic rules, and let me tell you, when this stuff happened in 2008, there was no corporate bailouts. There was no government bailouts. There was no additional unemployment. There was none of that. Now, there's a lot more associated with this. Even renters are protected during this time. If you can't pay your rent, you can get a deferment. They cannot evict you. And they cannot report you to your credit agencies. You need to know what's been made available to you to provide for you during this time. Now, those are for people who have no understanding of these laws. I think you should really look into those programs. I really do, because they really will help you. Or ask me. I will put my email below. If you want me to talk about these programs and what they're like, I'll talk about that. I haven't made videos about that because I'm a financial guru from my past, and I don't want to be dragged back into my past, because I'm moving forward. I'm always moving forward. I'm rarely looking back unless I'm looking back to inform me of a present circumstance. I look back, right? So, and guys, right now in the state of the world and the economies of the world, nobody knows what's going to happen. Trust me, because I keep my finger on the pulse of all that. And I love those financial conversations, but nobody really knows what's going to happen. So in the meantime, you have to focus on your own personal economy. I do that every day. I move my businesses forward every day. I have 2 businesses now that I work from my home, from my phone. The second one, which is relatively newest, I'm most passionate about because it's easy and it's perfect for this day and age when you don't have to meet people in person. That's all I'm going to say about that. So the law of attraction is real. It works, but you have to believe. You have to believe in it. You have to believe in your own power of creative thought. And I will leave you with this. When much of our interest is taken up with our full attention, we shall find that most of our petty and selfish leanings will be absorbed by our higher interest, and we will steadily progress. So that means don't listen to the media. Don't listen to what's been going on here. You just have to keep working on whatever it is your goals are. If you cannot physically go to work, when is now a good time to investigate side gigs? I have 2 of them. So you can, if you like me, you can reach out to me and I'll share with you what I'm doing during this time. But you have to ask, believe, and receive. Just keep asking, work on your believing, and work on receiving. Because, I mean, there's a lot of words in this book that I'm trying to distill down into 3 pieces. But I'll tell you that I've had debt canceled. I've had just so many strange things happen because I believe. So, use your mind intelligently and creatively to move you towards what you really want. So hopefully you know what you want, because you can't ask until you figure out what you want. So hopefully during this downtime, you figured out what you want. So that's it. Next one is my next video is going to be on the law of receiving. Talk to you later. And the one before talked about expectation, like the law of supply talked about expectation. So this all works together when you listen to them in that light. So listen to the previous one if you haven't listened to part 1 and part 2. Part 2 is a more detailed explanation. Part 1 is an introduction to me even doing the series. So you can listen to part 1 to get the introduction, or just go right to part 2. I talk about the law of supply, and in this video I talked about the law of attraction. The next one is going to be the law of receiving. So look for you on the next one.